October 1st, 1993. An armored truck carrying $3,100,000 idles outside Circus Circus Casino, Las Vegas. Two guards haul cash bags inside. Behind the wheel sits Heather Tallchief, 21 years old. 3 weeks into the job, her orders is to wait 20 minutes. At 8:20 a.m., the guards walk back outside. The truck is gone. Heather is gone. $3 million vanished into morning traffic without a single shot fired. By noon, the FBI swarms Vegas. By sunset, Heather Tallchief is the most wanted woman in Nevada. But here's what makes this terrifying. She didn't plan this alone. The man who convinced her to drive away is a convicted murderer who attempted this exact heist once before, killed someone doing it, and spent 15 years in prison perfecting the plan. They pull it off flawlessly. Then, they disappear for 12 years. No arrests, no sightings, no money recovered. The largest armored car theft in Vegas history goes completely cold. How does a rookie driver with zero criminal record steal millions in broad daylight? And where do you hide when the entire FBI is hunting you? Heather Tallchief grows up in Buffalo, New York, burning through nursing assistant jobs and bad relationships. By 21, she's broke, burnt out, and desperate to leave everything behind. San Francisco seems far enough. She lands there in early 1993 with $300 and a duffel bag. In March, she walks into a Tenderloin nightclub. That's where she meets Roberto Solis. He's 48. She's 21. He buys her a drink, leans close over the bar noise, and tells her about tantric meditation and manifesting wealth through ritual. Most women would walk away. Heather stays. What she doesn't know, Roberto Solis is a convicted murderer. In 1969, he shot and killed a man during an armored car robbery in San Francisco, his first attempt at this exact crime. He served 15 years in Folsom State Prison. Prison records show he spent those years reading occult texts, writing poetry under the pen name Pancho Aguila, and planning, always planning. He doesn't mention any of this on their first date, or their second. By the time Heather learns fragments of his past, she's already in love. Roberto controls the pace, late-night talks about destiny, elaborate sex magic rituals he claims will pull money from the universe, small gifts of cocaine that lower her resistance. He studies her weaknesses the way a locksmith studies pins. Within 8 weeks, Heather moves into his apartment. In July 1993, Roberto announces they're relocating to Las Vegas. Fresh start, he says. New energy. Heather packs without questioning why. They arrive on July 18th and rent a one-bedroom off Tropicana Avenue. Then Roberto gives her the first concrete instruction: apply to Loomis Armored Car Company. Heather's record is clean, no arrests, no red flags. Loomis hires her on August 9th, 1993. She starts the following Monday as a driver trainee, learning routes through Las Vegas, learning the weight of cash bags, learning how her co-workers joke to kill time between stops. She seems perfect for the job, punctual, polite, forgettable. At home, Roberto's training begins. He doesn't hand her weapons or blueprints. Instead, he puts her in what he calls a meditative trance, walking her through casino routes until she can recite every turn without maps. The Circus Circus stop. What time do you arrive? 7:50 a.m. How long are the guards inside? 20 to 25 minutes. Where do you go after? She answers in a monotone voice, eyes half closed. Roberto nods. Repetition builds automation. Heather later testifies she felt unable to say no. Whether that's trauma, manipulation, or love, twisted into something else, is harder to pin down. What's certain, by mid-September, Roberto rents a storage unit under the name Michael Miller and stocks it with disguises, fake IDs, and a second getaway vehicle. Heather watches him prepare, but doesn't ask the final question burning in her chest. Are we really doing this? By September 28th, the plan is set. Heather will drive away from Circus Circus mid-route on October 1st, meet Roberto at the storage unit, transfer the cash, and disappear. No guns, no witnesses. Just exploit the 20-minute gap when her co-workers are inside and trust the truck will still be there. 3 days until the heist. Heather can't sleep. Roberto sleeps fine. Why is a man who served 15 years for nearly this exact crime willing to gamble everything again? And why does Heather, knowing what she knows now, still agree to drive that truck? October 1st, 1993, 7:30 a.m. Heather wakes before her alarm. Roberto is already dressed, sitting on the edge of the bed. He watches her pull on her Loomis uniform, navy blue polo, matching pants, steel-toed boots. "Be safe," he says. The words sound tender, but his eyes say, "Don't screw this up." By 7:45, Heather is behind the wheel of truck number 1423. Two co-workers beside her, Mike and Tony, both veterans who've run this route for years. They don't suspect the rookie driver gripping the wheel a little too tight. The truck carries $3.1 million split across 4 casino stops. Circus Circus is first. At 7:52, Heather backs the truck into the Circus Circus service entrance. Mike and Tony grab the first load, 2 bags, $800,000 combined. "Be right back," Mike says, slamming the rear doors. Heather nods, mouth too dry to answer. The casino doors swing shut. She's alone with the engine running and $2.3 million still in the back. She waits exactly 90 seconds, long enough to confirm they're deep inside the building. Then she shifts into drive. Her foot hovers over the gas pedal. Last chance to stop this. Last chance to be the person she was 3 months ago. She presses down. The truck rolls forward. Heather doesn't floor it. She merges into Las Vegas Boulevard traffic at exactly 35 miles per hour, just another armored vehicle in the morning flow. In the rearview mirror, Circus Circus shrinks. No one chases her, no sirens. Her co-workers are still inside, counting bills, unaware their ride just evaporated. Heather's hands shake on the wheel. She forces herself to follow the route Roberto drilled into her skull. South on Las Vegas Boulevard, east on Tropicana, then a hard left onto Industrial Road. Every turn feels like it takes an hour. Every red light feels like a trap. But the plan holds. At 8:04 a.m., she pulls into the A1 storage complex, Lot D, Unit 317. The roll-up door is open. Roberto stands inside, backlit by the morning sun slicing through the gap. Heather kills the engine. No words exchanged. They've rehearsed this part too. Roberto yanks open the rear doors. Canvas bags filled with banded cash stare back. They work fast, heaving bags into duffel bags, stuffing loose bundles into suitcases. Roberto brought Heather's arms burn. Sweat soaks through her uniform. 5 minutes to transfer $3.1 million. They finish in 4. A brown Dodge van sits inside the unit. Roberto bought it cash 2 weeks ago, using a fake name. They throw the bags into the van. Heather strips off her Loomis polo, tosses her ID badge onto the concrete floor, and climbs into the van wearing just a white tank top and jeans she'd hidden underneath. Roberto slams the door shut, rolls down the storage unit, clicks the padlock. The Loomis truck stays inside, abandoned, a crime scene waiting to be discovered. At 8:14 a.m., the Dodge van exits A1 storage and merges onto Interstate 15 southbound. Heather drives. Roberto sits in the passenger seat. one hand resting on a suitcase. They look like a couple heading to a weekend trip. No one pulls them over. No helicopters overhead. Not yet. Back at Circus Circus, 8:20 a.m. Mike keys his radio. "Heather, you there?" Static. He tries again. "Heather, respond." Nothing. Tony checks his watch. 28 minutes since they went inside. Way too long. They push through the service door into blinding daylight. The loading bay is empty. Mike's stomach drops. He runs to the street, looking both ways. Gone. By 8:35, Loomis corporate knows. By 8:50, Las Vegas Metro Police know. By 9:15, the FBI is pulling security footage from every camera in a 2-mile radius. But Heather Tallchief is already 60 miles south, watching Las Vegas disappear in the side mirror, wondering if she just freed herself or destroyed her life. Roberto reaches over and squeezes her hand. "You did perfect," he says. She wants to believe him. But one question claws at her chest. If this was so perfect, why is her heart trying to break through her ribs? They ditch the Dodge van in a Barstow truck stop parking lot 4 hours later and switch to a rental sedan Roberto arranged under a fake ID FBI protocol. Track vehicles. Roberto's protocol. Always stay 2 moves ahead. By sunset on October 1st, they're in Phoenix. By October 2nd, they're in Albuquerque. By October 3rd, they've crossed into Texas. Police alerts go out nationwide, but Heather and Roberto blur into America's sprawl of highways and anonymous motels. On October 5th, in a truck stop bathroom outside Amarillo, Heather transforms. She pulls on a floral house dress 3 sizes too big, bobby pins a gray wig over her dark hair, and lowers herself into a wheelchair Roberto stole from a Goodwill. She checks the mirror. A 70-year-old woman with dead eyes stares back. Roberto, now wearing glasses and a fake mustache, becomes her dutiful grandson, pushing her through airport security, TSA, waves them through with barely a glance. Elderly travelers don't steal millions. They hopscotch flights, Dallas to Atlanta to New York to London. By October 12th, they land in Amsterdam under the names Susan and Robert Walker, Canadian tourists with fresh passports. Roberto arranged months earlier. The FBI loses the trail somewhere over the Atlantic. Amsterdam should feel like victory. Instead, Heather feels hollow. They rent a cramped flat in DePipe, a working-class neighborhood where no one asks questions. Roberto stuffs the cash into a storage locker and refuses to tell Heather where. "I'm handling it," he says. "You just stay low." She realizes she's not his partner. She's his driver, his tool, now benched after completing her function. Roberto vanishes for hours, sometimes days, claiming he's meeting investment contacts to launder the money. Heather waits in the flat, staring at Dutch television she doesn't understand. She picks up cleaning work at a hostel for cash, terrified every moment that someone will recognize her face from an Interpol bulletin. Months bleed together. Roberto brings different women to the apartment. Younger, prettier, not wanted by the FBI. Heather says nothing. Where would she even go? In April 1994, Heather discovers she's pregnant. Roberto's reaction: silence for 5 full minutes, then a shrug. "We'll figure it out." They don't figure it out. In June, while Roberto is gone on another mysterious trip, Heather packs a backpack with $4,000 in cash from the dresser drawer. Roberto's carelessness, her survival, and walks out of the apartment. She doesn't leave a note. She drifts through Amsterdam, then Utrecht, then Brussels, picking up house cleaning jobs under fake names. On November 2nd, 1994, she gives birth to a boy she names Dylan No Hospital. Too risky. A midwife in a basement apartment. Heather holds her son and makes a promise. He will have something better than this. For the next 11 years, Heather and Dylan move through Europe like ghosts. They rent month-to-month rooms in Antwerp, Lyon, Barcelona, places where cash transactions don't raise eyebrows. Heather learns to change her accent, her hair, her story. Dylan knows his mother as Sarah, a Canadian expatriate with no family and a complicated past she won't explain. He's a sweet kid, curious, bright, asking questions she can't answer. Where's Dad? Gone. Where are we from? Lots of places. Why do we move so much? She doesn't have an answer that isn't a lie. Every knock on the door spikes her heart rate. Every police car on the street sends her into planning mode. Grab the go bag, memorize the exits, have a story ready. This isn't freedom. It's a different kind of prison, one where the walls are made of paranoia and the sentence has no end date. Back in Las Vegas, the case goes cold. The FBI interviews everyone Heather ever knew, family in Buffalo, old co-workers, high school teachers. They all say the same thing: quiet girl, not the type. Roberto Solis's name surfaces within weeks, his criminal record, his connection to Heather, his sudden disappearance on the same day. But leads evaporate. No confirmed sightings, no financial trail. The $3.1 million vanishes as completely as the people who stole it. By 2004, Heather is exhausted. Dylan is 10, asking harder questions. Mom, why don't I have a birth certificate? Why can't I go to a real school? She's robbing him of a childhood to protect a secret that's eating her alive. She's 32 years old and feels 60. The math becomes clear. She can keep running and destroy her son's future, or she can stop running and give him a chance at something real. On September 15, 2005, Heather Tallchief buys a plane ticket to Las Vegas under her real name for the first time in 12 years. But will turning herself in save her son, or just trade one cage for another? September 15, 2005, 10:30 a.m. Heather walks into the Lloyd D. George U.S. Courthouse in downtown Las Vegas. She's wearing jeans and a plain gray sweater, no disguise, no wig, just Heather Tallchief, fugitive, ready to stop running. She approaches the security desk and says, "My name is Heather Tallchief. I'm here to surrender." The guards freeze. One makes a phone call. Within minutes, FBI agents appear, confirming her identity against a 12-year-old wanted poster. The woman in the photo is 21, dark-haired, unlined. The woman standing before them is 33, grayer, carved by a decade of fear. But the eyes match. They place her in handcuffs, protocol, even for voluntary surrenders. Heather doesn't resist. She's done resisting. News breaks within the hour. Local stations lead with it. Vegas armored car thief surrenders after 12 years. Cameras mob the courthouse, reporters shout questions. Heather says nothing as agents walk her inside, but her lawyer, Michael Cristalli, reads a prepared statement. Ms. Tallchief is cooperating fully. She turned herself in for one reason: to give her son a life built on truth, not lies. The prosecution wants the maximum, 10 years. They argue Heather was a willing participant who betrayed her employer's trust and stole $3.1 million. Her defense counters with Roberto Solis's criminal history, the murder conviction, the prison time, the psychological manipulation tactics. They bring in expert testimony about coercive control, trauma bonding, and how Solis used drugs and mysticism to break down Heather's will. The judge listens to both sides. Heather sits silent at the defense table, hands folded. On November 3, 2005, she pleads guilty to conspiracy to commit theft and money laundering. No trial, no drawn-out battle, just an acknowledgement. I did this. and I'm accepting responsibility. The judge sentences her to 63 months in federal prison, plus $2.9 million in restitution. 5 years, 3 months. It's less than the time she spent hiding. Heather serves her sentence at Federal Correctional Institution Dublin in California. She's a model inmate, quiet, no infractions, enrolled in every rehabilitation program offered. She writes letters to Dylan explaining what she did and why she came back. He's 11 now, living with Heather's mother in Buffalo, trying to process the fact that his entire childhood was a lie wrapped around a crime. In May 2010, Heather walks out of prison. She's 38 years old. The world has moved on. Smartphones, social media, an economy collapsed and rebuilding. She reunites with Dylan, now 16, and they start the long work of becoming mother and son for real this time. She gets a job in a Buffalo call center under her own name, no disguises, no fake accents, just Heather Tallchief, ex-convict, trying to rebuild. Roberto Solis never resurfaces. The FBI searches for him across 4 continents. Interpol issues a red notice. America's Most Wanted runs his photo in 2007. Nothing. Some investigators believe he's dead, killed by criminal partners, or simply claimed by time. Others think he's still out there, an old man living under a new name, sitting on whatever remains of $3.1 million. In 2023, he would be 78 years old. The case remains open. Of the money, less than $50,000 was ever recovered, the cash Heather used to survive in Europe, and the small amount she forfeited during her plea agreement. The rest, $3 million, give or take, disappeared with Roberto. Maybe he spent it. Maybe it's moldering in a storage unit somewhere, forgotten or inaccessible. Maybe it never existed the way Heather remembers, inflated by fear and time. Heather broke the most fundamental rule of the heist: trust. She exploited the trust her employer placed in a rookie driver with a clean record. She trusted Roberto Solis, who exploited that trust for his own escape. In the end, trust destroyed more than it built.